This was by far one of the hardest calls I've ever been on. The house is unforgettable as I was just there a month prior for a disturbance with the daughter and parents. What tied it together for me and embedded it into my memory was the table. Never before had I seen the exact same dining room table as mine. It was a specific stone and wood table that was extremely expensive, a gift because I would have never bought it, and I had never seen it anywhere else. I'll never forget the house, and I'll never forget the street. It was a specific L-shaped cul-de-sac off the main road near a school. The call came in as a 13-year-old suicide, that her grandmother had come home to pick up her granddaughter and found her dead. I ran lights and sirens and was number 2 on the scene. It was heart-wrenching to see her grandmother standing outside sobbing, crying, wondering what had gone wrong. Her parents hadn't even been notified yet. I entered into the house with the other officer and made our way downstairs into the parents' bedroom where the 13-year-old was lying. She had laid out a blanket, and it looked as though she had shot herself in the stomach with a shotgun and sprawled herself out at the foot of the parents' bed. The shotgun was found across the room, as it had been thrown from the blast. She was wearing a black dress, her skin was pale, her hair was dark, and her eyes were open. They had that look, the look of death and lifelessness. I remember standing in the corner of the room, staring at this 13-year-old child, wondering what could have caused her to want to take her own life. I was absolutely clueless, as I had a child at the time who was 12 years old. We searched the house for evidence, and the other officer began to take photographs. I found 4 bottles of antidepressants that were completely empty in the kitchen. After speaking to her parents that day, they were all full prior, which meant she had taken all 4 bottles of antidepressants and then shot herself. Perhaps she felt like she didn't have the courage to pull the trigger and wanted the ending to be the same. We continued to search the house and found 17 notes, all laid out in rows on her bedroom floor to different people. It had been 45 minutes at this time of investigation, and we had been in and out of the house multiple times, but no one ever saw the note on the door until I walked through it that final time. It was one note, in the wreath, on the very front door, and it said, "Look downstairs." Still to this day, no one knows why she took her own life. In any of the notes, she never explained what her feelings were. She only apologized for her inactions. Her family seemed happy, but no one truly knows the facade that people put on, and I sometimes dream and have haunting memories of her face and her lifeless eyes. It's those questions, those unanswered questions in a time that is so confusing, that stays with you forever.